hands on my shoulder, put your shoulders. Yeah.
Or flat, and if I wear them long, then
I'm probably about the same. Where is it? Like, it's on this,
Yeah,
$4.
Mine comes down.
This is well, let's
so small.
test this together.
I'm really happy because it's just all
like in general.
Haley, put on your wing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amanda's perfect. Yeah, you actually might have to watch it. Thank you, man. That's his guess. It's smooth.
The dress is
trying to say like satin. I think that's his prediction is just smooth. So I have it.
Should I be sitting down?
Oh, you can sit if you like. I'm gonna take my right. Alright, oh shh. Okay, we open it? Yeah. Woo! Yeah, they're not that sentimental. But then maybe. Oh, really? Oh my god, so pretty. Oh my god. She was not in our high-fi all along. What right now? So oh my goodness.
That was the problem.
Do you think that is yours? Yes. Okay, it's perfect. You have the tiniest nails. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, and if you need it to the side right now, I can show it. You can exchange it. They have them.
That's what I got mine.
I'm wearing silver, otherwise I would wear mine. Alright, I have to do my size. Can I do one and five? Oh shit, sorry. Alright, corner pants. I'll grab them for you. There. Maggie gets the other one.
In there, Maggie. Get all up in there.
Is there anything showing on this?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
So then you're gonna sit for the rest of
This whole straps.
Alright, let's see.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to avoid with this thing.
There's a professional here for that.
You're right, No, that's our first celebrity one. We're in here. No, we can do it after. Sorry. Cheers. Cheers. I got it. Thank you.
My public bag. My public bag. Oh my god, you do it.
A veil is so pretty too.
I don't know. Candace. Let's do...
Skip and Kaylee would like to thank everybody for being here, in particular those who have traveled from far away. It's a big event to get married, and it's special that everybody here is able to share it with them. They would like to share their appreciation for their siblings, their grandparents, and most importantly, their parents. They raised two amazing individuals that we get to honor and celebrate with today. Skip has a heart of gold and commits to 100% of what he does. Skip is supportive, honest, caring, which makes him an incredible friend and partner, especially for Kaylee. Kaylee is the embodiment of care, intelligence, and beauty, and she takes her passion for life and injects it into everything she does. While among strangers, Kaylee can sometimes appear quiet, but I can assure you, it is not for lack of thought. Kaylee analyzes her surroundings, including those she is with, and hones in on people's true character, and might I add, with extreme accuracy. Kaylee is in tune with everything she does, which leads us to how Kaylee and Skip met. Skip left Arizona, Kaylee left Florida to start their first careers in Atlanta. This is how I was introduced to them. It was an exciting change, and it led to new experiences and new friends. Part of the move meant that we were provided housing, which is a great benefit. On February 23rd of 2012, we all gathered, nervous about our jobs and anxious about the potential relationships that we would build with each other during this new journey. We gathered in the lobby of that apartment and received a small orientation of our new home for the next 6 months. I'm pretty sure Skip didn't pay a single bit of attention because he was clearly focused on Kaylee the entire time. This is only 5 hours into 6 months that we would have together. Put his best foot forward for sure. Like I mentioned about Kaylee, she has an uncanny ability to hone in on people's character quickly. Even though I'm sure she was thinking, who is that guy and why will he not stop staring at me? She still knew there was something initially about Skip that was special, but she wasn't quite sure what yet. Once we broke from our orientation, we continued to unpack our belongings and get familiar with our area. We decided that dinner was the best way to kick it off. All of us guys sat at one table together, and on the other end of that table were all the girls, and we started going through the motions of getting to know each other. And I believe most of what Skip talked about was, have any of you guys talked to the girls, or in particular Kaylee? Or maybe it was, who is Kaylee? I want to get to know a little bit more. And we just carried on with our conversations. Had I known Skip better at this point, I would have known that Kaylee stood no chance against his tenacity. It was that moment that I believe sparked the future for these two. While Skip is a driven and committed individual, it was no easy layup for him to make his way into Kaylee's life. Kaylee wanted to be sure of who Skip was before she opened herself up to him. That meant that he would have to try, and try hard. He did. Little by little, he would start finding ways to be injected into her life, and much to Kaylee's surprise, that happened rather quickly. Since we were in a classroom setting at that point, studying was important. Skip would actively pursue studying with Kaylee whenever the chance presented itself. Next, Skip would somehow be in group projects with her, and we still aren't sure if bribery was part of this, but I'm sure it was. Eventually, dinner would be his next approach. And then finally, what really sealed the deal on this quiet growth in their relationship was when Skip and Kaylee began riding to work together. Once people start to carpool together, I think it's absolutely official. These two were inseparable in the absolute best way possible. We all knew that the passion that they have for each other was not just a fling. This was absolutely and clearly by design. Both of them are strong and intelligent people, and they pursue with 100% of their will the things that they want. And as time progressed, so did their relationship. As with any relationship, though, there are challenges. Skip and Kaylee had their own tests of strength early on. Part of our job required us to be placed in 2 separate cities with 2 different groups of people for a 2-month period. That meant Skip with one half of the group in Fort Worth, Texas, Kaylee the other half in Chicago. Early in a relationship, separation can obviously add strain to a developing bond between people. This was not the case for Kaylee and Skip. As Skip and Kaylee experienced the new cultures around them, they made sure to not let their relationship fizzle. The frequency at which Skip and Kaylee were talking on the phone or FaceTiming made it seem as if the other one was with them the entire time. In moments of fun, like hanging out at the pool, or in moments of uncertainty, like navigating a new job and an unfamiliar place, they were with each other every step of the way. 1,000 miles separated Skip and Kaylee, but this challenge was no match for them. The 2-month stint came to an end, and we all regrouped in Atlanta. I definitely would say they were extremely happy about this. Trust me, when we thought they were close with 1,000 miles separating them, they were absolutely close when they were back together in Atlanta. We had a short time with all of us back together before the next part of our job would pose yet their second big challenge. There was a placement process that came to the end of our training program, and I think the best way to compare this is an NFL draft, based on some input from us, but mostly where they thought we would be most needed. We would be placed in a random city throughout the country, and this would be the true start of our professional careers, something that we had all worked so hard for and anxiously awaited. As the names and cities are announced, a mixture of excitement and anxiety filled the room. I might add, these selections were non-negotiable too. It came to Kaylee's turn for what city she would be moving to. We hear Tallahassee, Florida. Tallahassee is obviously not the first choice of city for a Gator, but she may do. 2 more people are announced, and finally they land on Skip. Skip is told that he will be moving to Santa Cruz, California. That anxiety and excitement quickly vacated the room and was replaced with shock and sadness. These two were going to be separated again. But it was not just these two that shared that sadness and sorrow. It was everybody in the room with them that day. We were all there to support them. Instead of 1,000 miles separating them, this time it was 2,600 miles that would separate them. I'll never forget when Kaylee heard where Skip was going. She stood up and started to walk out of the room as her eyes welled up with tears. Skip quickly followed to comfort her, and he reminded Kaylee to be strong through this challenge. We all wanted to be with them. We wanted to hug them. We wanted to talk with them. We wanted to remind them that everything would be okay. But we knew Skip would take care of that. The placement process ended with a strong feeling of betrayal between these two where we worked. And we came back into the room and let the day pass without showing any emotion. Their separation in Fort Worth and Chicago had an expiration, but this distance could be permanent. But do not worry, this clearly has a very happy ending. A few days later, we were all packed up and ready to say our goodbyes, and then we were off to start our careers. Both of them flourished and accomplished amazing things where they were. But as an outsider, it was hard not to worry that things might not work out. Distance does not discriminate and can take its toll in a relationship and the love between two people. But I was again quickly reminded why these two were meant for each other. I would call Skip or Kaylee just to check in on life and gain their insights on careers and development opportunities. But a majority of the time, my phone would be pushed straight to voicemail, and I would get the "on the phone with Skip" or "on the phone with Kaylee" text that followed. 2 hours later, if I was lucky, I would get a call back. Skip and Kaylee continued to grow in their careers and moved around with their jobs, but nothing brought them to the same city. They still maintained their close connection and the feeling of togetherness, even though distance kept them apart. Eventually, Skip and Kaylee took a very big risk. They both decided to find new jobs. Skip and Kaylee had long and successful careers lined up for them and were easily going to be moved up the ranks. So that's what made it even more difficult to leave their jobs. Of course, they both landed on their feet extremely well, but instead of being 2,600 miles separated, they would now be together in the same city in Scottsdale. Unfortunately, Scottsdale's temperatures rival that of a high-scoring basketball game, and the rattlesnakes and scorpions outnumber the people, but that absolutely did not matter because they would be together. Being together allowed Skip and Kaylee's relationship to grow even further into what we know it is today. Being together allowed them to understand what true companionship was. Being together allowed them new experiences that were prior not possible. Some of these exciting new opportunities presented themselves quickly. One of them was buying a house. Being able to watch the other grow professionally and just within their life in the same place instead of on the phone. It was getting engaged, which of course is why we're here. It was getting the cutest puppy that is making a presence here today. And they wouldn't have it any other way. So reflecting back on their journey, it's important to notice that we all have plans for ourselves. And this is the initial plan. But it's when we find the right balance in our life with a person that supports, cares, and loves you, like Skip and Kaylee do for each other, that the individual plans slowly evolve into the collective plan. No one can predict the future, but the challenges that may present themselves to Skip and Kaylee stand no chance against their combined plan. I tell you their story because a relationship serves as an example to all of us as to how to grow and how to persevere through all the challenges that we may have. Love does not always come without its cost, and some challenges may seem insurmountable, but working to push through these challenges for each other and for your partner and to support one another is what makes a true and everlasting relationship. I truly believe that the past dictates the future, and there is nothing that can wedge its way between Skip and Kaylee. So Skip and Kaylee, today is the beginning of your new combined journey, and you have prepared some special words for each other as you take each other's hands into the next step of your life. Kaylee, do you have Skip's ring? Okay. Kaylee, repeat after me. Skip, I promise to love and care for you.
Skip, I promise to love and care for you.
I will try in every way to be worthy of your love.
I will try in every way to be worthy of your love.
I will always be honest with you, kind, patient, and forgiving.
I will always be honest with you, kind, patient, and forgiving.
I will respect you, encourage you, and cherish you.
I will respect you, encourage you, and cherish you.
In health and sickness.
In health and sickness.
Through sorrow and success.
Through sorrow and success.
For all the days of my life.
For all the days of my life.
Skip, can you grab Kaylee's ring? Skip, repeat after me.
I'll try.
Kaylee, I promise to love and care for you.
Kaylee, I promise to love and care for you.
I will try in every way to be worthy of your love.
I will try in every way to be worthy of your love.
I will always be honest with you.
I will always
patient and forgiving.
Jump the gun. I will always be honest with you, kind, patient, and forgiving.
Perfect. I will respect you, encourage you, and cherish you.
I will respect you, encourage you, and cherish you.
In health and sickness.
In health and sickness.
Through sorrow and success.
Through sorrow and success.
For all the days of my life.
For all the days of my life.
Got it.
That's
Kaylee, do you take Skip to be your husband?
I do.
Skip, do you take Kaylee to be your wife?
I do.
With that being said, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Skip, you may now kiss your bride. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, I introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. Skip and Kaylee Trulias.
Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Like a young John Cusack, like making big mistakes. I feel like for the first time in a long time I am not afraid. I feel like a kid. Never thought it'd feel like this. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new. Like when I close my eyes and don't even care if anyone sees me dancing. Like I can fly and I don't even think of touching the ground. Yeah. Like a heartbeat skip, like an open page, like a one-way trip on an aeroplane. It's the way that I feel when I'm with you. Brand new.
The first time I did this, I rehearsed and rehearsed and rehearsed. I cried every time. I couldn't get through it. We made a pact tonight that we were not going to cry. We did pretty good. I'm probably not going to try to read this as much as possible, but the ceremony itself has really thrown me off. That was freaking unbelievable. He's like looking like it's December already. So I'm Paul Nielsen. I'm the father of this beautiful bride. And Lynn and I, right here, want to thank you for all attending. We appreciate the fact that so many people came here from long distances. I also want to thank everybody that helped us get ready for this thing. And if I do start crying during this speech, it's because I've been breathing like paint fumes and glitter. And so I'm having a problem with paint fumes. So thank you for everybody that came. I know we have a lot of people that came from long distances, and you know that, and we really do appreciate that. And I do want to take a second to think about the people that aren't here tonight. There's a bunch of them. This is where I'm going to start crying. They're here in spirit. So, enough of that. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about Kaylee. I'm not going to talk to you about it. I want to talk to everybody. I think that the nice thing is, you know, I actually knew the whole story when Eric was talking about it. So the amazing thing is, and this will be the last thing I talk about or think about, is I knew about Skip the first weekend that Lynn and Maggie came home. So there was an impression that was made on us right away. So I just want to talk about a little bit about Kaylee, and again, it seems like everybody's stealing my thunder. I mean, Eric took a bunch of this stuff that I do. We were working on the sign pole the other night, and Maggie and Lindsay started talking about, okay, all the funny stuff, and it's like I had all that stuff in my sleeve. Because if you know me, I don't like to pass up an opportunity to be funny, so I just want to tell you, all the funny stuff they're going to talk about, I had it in here. So, but I do want to talk about Kaylee and the type of person that she is, and we knew that it's kind of like at an early age, you know how somebody's going to end up. And it's funny, when we really never had enough money to buy a video camera when Lindsay was born. And then right before Kaylee was born, we spent like 3 months of our salary to buy a camcorder. It was the size of a carry-on luggage. And that's when you learn, like, now what a dad does is he just views everything through a viewfinder for the next forever. So, you know, when Kaylee was born, there was lots of video, you know, the first steps, the first time she slept. Kaylee was, I will tell you, just like crazy about Big Bird. So we're going crazy. We planned this second birthday party where Big Bird's going to show up. I didn't get anybody to play Big Bird, so I had to do a double take. I videoed most of it, then I had to jump downstairs, change into a Big Bird costume. And like the thing you want to do, 2 things you want to do. You want to give your daughter like the wedding of her dreams, and you want Big Bird to show up at her second birthday. So Big Bird shows up, and she cried, she screamed, she was okay. It was horrible. So, but getting back, so going to where you see the glimpses of our daughter. So we actually went to, we were getting ready. We were getting ready to actually move to California at the time, and I wanted to capture Lindsay's first day of kindergarten. So we, you know, Lindsay's all excited. She's got her, you know, kindergarten outfit on that Lynn and her had picked out, and this is just so excited. And we're videotaping like her first day to go to kindergarten. And you can hear, I'm videotaping, you can hear the bus coming up the street, and Lindsay's like just so excited. You know, you just can't believe that, you know, she's just no fear, no nothing. The school bus comes in, she's like on the bus, sitting down, and just, you know, ready to start this new adventure. Lindsay, of course, is checking with the bus driver to make sure how long it's going to take to get to school. Because in 30 seconds, she's going to run and grab the car keys and follow her to behind the bus and make sure she makes it. So the bus takes off. I've got this on videotape, and I kept the camcorder going for some reason. And you know, the bus takes off, and you can, and I kind of pan back to Kaylee. And I've never seen anybody so, like, it's like she dropped her head. And this was so, it was like the best person in her life that just left. And I'm going to tell you something. Lindsay was not the best big sister. There might have been things like, can we throw her in the garbage? Yeah, okay. Everybody that's a first child. But the thing is this. yes, they love each other, trust me, and they're great friends. But you could see Kaylee, that was like, Lindsay was her, like she was, it was like when she loved you all of you. So, this is the part that's, okay, I haven't paid for this one. So,
Deep breath, deep breath.
so the person that she become, the woman that she's become, if you're a friend of hers, there's a lot of them here, you know that she's all in. You know that if there's an issue, if you need her, she's there for you. She's all in all the time. If she loves you, you know she loves you. She's the first person to ever sit there and say, God, can I help you? You know, she never asked you to do anything that she would do herself. And that just says so much about her. And I look at Skip and I go, you know, the reason why they're such a good pair is nobody knows a lot of this stuff, but that guy is awesome. He puts her before him all the time. And he's done so much for her. And I'm just so happy to have him as my son. And I know that they're going to be happy together because they're perfect together. Because they have the same qualities. They're generous, they're loving, and they take care of each other. And one more thing, they're both beautiful. So, I'm going to let these guys have all the fun again. Sorry. So, I want to thank Bill and Jan. Great job. You turned out to be having a great human being as a son, but we must have done something wrong because he really fits in with our family. So welcome to the family. Although you've been welcome ever since you showed my house. So here's it. So I hope this is the wedding of your dreams. This is what I want. This is what your mom wanted. To make sure that this is everything you want. I kind of like looking out there. That's pretty cool. McGregor, yeah, here's the problem. At the last wedding, he has an issue about actually going to water. This time, he could actually kill himself. That's so hang in there.
We hired a crossing guard. Everyone needs to make it next.
So, okay, so I'm not going to cry. I have to read this part because I don't want to screw it up. So, I want you to be happy and be loved. And if you do that, it'll make me the proudest father. Oh, I can't say this. But you have made me very happy my whole life. So, okay, so this is the time for the toast. Okay, so I can do this. So ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses to my son-in-law Skip and my daughter Kaylee. I wish them every happiness imaginable. Cheers. Cheers.
I'm not going to be able to one-up that one. So, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. The joke about Chris taking all of his lines, that was what I was thinking about doing. Eric, excuse me. Eric taking all the lines. That's exactly what I was going to say. And so that kind of stole my thunder. But it's all good. It's all good. I actually wrote down the speech, left it at the hotel, all brought it. Said, no, I don't want it. So shoot from the hip a little bit here. A little nervous, not the best public speaker, but I feel really, I'm just extremely happy for Skip and Kaylee. I mean, Skip's been my best friend since we were 4 or 5 years old, and I mean, I can't believe Kaylee's way better than Skip. Everything, but so, and then she puts up with Skip, and then she in turn puts up with me. I'm almost a bigger issue sometimes. I'm just so happy for you guys, and I mean, this has been a beautiful wedding. Thank you so much for having me, just having part in it, and congratulations. I love you both, and thank you so much. I mean, it means the world to me. Thank you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for our best man, Brandon Thompson.
Hello, everyone. My name's Maggie.
And I'm Lindsay.
And we are Kaylee's beautiful sisters. But tonight, we've never seen a more beautiful bride than you, Kaylee.
Greg, you look really pretty too.
I remember the first time meeting Skip and Derulo. It was in an elevator, and we were moving Kaylee to Atlanta for her first job, or whatever, their jobs at 18. Since Atlanta, they've had to deal with living thousands of miles apart, but finally settling down in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they became parents to the cutest little pup, Buster.
Buster is so excited that his parents are going to stop living in sin, and they're going to become official. He can't wait to be a Julius, even though Kaylee says he's not changing his name. He is. So the first time Skip came to visit us in Florida, it made me like him even more. I think the entire family. He gets up around 8 a.m. I don't know, maybe he was golfing with McGregor, because who gets up that early when they're on vacation? But he walks to the fridge. What else would he do? But he cracks open an ice cold Bud Light. We knew just then that he was a keeper. He's already making himself at home with the Nielsen's and becoming a part of the family.
Alright, Kaylee. From our days of being roommates, and you letting me come to your bed when I was scared, and countless nights of me sleep talking to you. Do you know my feet? To sorority sisters, you're my best friend, and I wouldn't change a thing. I didn't include that in the speech. I'm so glad that I've been able to look up to such a wonderful and beautiful person inside and out. That's all I got. You're up.
Kaylee, it makes me so proud to see such, a beautiful, successful woman that you've grown into. I may not have always embraced your presence growing up, as we all heard from my dad earlier. I may or may not have wanted her to sleep in the bathtub where you're growing up. But now I'd give anything to live closer to you. I'm so lucky to have you as my sister, as my best friend, and as many of you may know, we now work together. So she is my go-to claims person that I bug on the regular for questions. And whenever I need something, I make sure she makes it a priority to get answer first. So thank you. But I know you're going to be the best wife to Skip. You're going to have a long, beautiful, loving marriage. You're going to continue being great parents to Buster and to your future children. But I can't wait to see what's in store for you guys. We're so excited for this. So Maggie came up with a new word. It's lackage. And there will never be a lackage of happiness.
Kaylee, I've never seen you happier. Also for the family. I don't know if we could find someone more perfect for the family. Kaylee, whatever. But Skeptic, welcome to the crazy family. I think you'll open a beer quicker than any of us, so thank you.
We always wanted a brother growing up. And now we're trying to have one. Greg, I'm just kidding. We're so excited to finally have two brothers, and Andrew and Carl Monday. But anyways, we really love you both. Congratulations. We wish you all the best. And let's cheers! Drink, Julius!
But once again, ladies and gentlemen, around